Welcome to the Shack. We're your hosts. I'm Gabe,
I'm Abe.
and we are here to talk about anything and everything. And what are we talking about today?
We're here to make you feel uncomfortable.
I'm feeling uncomfortable because I don't even know what to say right
Why?
now.
Why?
Oh, daddy.
Puppy.
Put your hand closer to Papi Muñeño.
So, if you're new to the podcast, welcome.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
Obviously, everybody's new. I don't know why I said that,
Yeah,
but we'll just leave it on.
everybody's new to the podcast, so welcome.
But we're gonna say that every podcast because eventually there will be new people, and it will not be a new podcast anymore.
If we're any good, anyways.
Yeah, but we'll still record.
If we're not good, then there won't be any new
Hashtag
people.
0 views the whole way. So,
Is that a goal? It's like an anti-goal.
should we go into that?
Anti-goals? Are there such
No,
things
not
as
anti-goals, but like how views generally impact the content creator.
Yeah, I think.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, because think about it, right? You're trying to get more views,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're going to act as something that you're normally not because you're trying to appeal to the people to get those views, right?
Right.
So you're putting on this persona that's making you popular, or you are talking about something you have no fucking interest in, you know? So yeah, I understand that. Yeah, just trying to get those views any way that you can by any means necessary.
Exactly. Yeah, like the cloud, right? Cloud digger. I feel like the majority of content creators don't know their audience. And I say that because they're just trying to cater to an algorithm rather than an audience, right?
Yeah.
If you knew who your audience was from the get-go, you would know exactly what content to create
Mhm.
and to present to them, right? To deliver. But because we don't, we're just kind of throwing it out there and see what YouTube says or
Yeah.
TikTok or
Just throwing shit at
Instagram.
the wall and seeing what
Yeah,
sticks.
just like, oh, let's see if this goes viral, right? It's like, I'm just going to do a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to use a trending sound.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use a trend, period, right? To get people's attention. The one that stands out to me the most recent one, and I don't know how you feel about this, but you know Gary Vee is?
Yeah.
Okay. Gary Vaynerchuk, I used to be like a really big, I'm still a follower, but I used to be a really big follower of his, like from the beginning.
Mhm.
And he posted a video, and it was about the TikTok that I forgot the guy's name. I think he goes by the name of Dogface.
I haven't seen them.
It was
Heard of
it
them.
was the bald guy that was on a skateboard drinking a cranberry juice.
Oh, that dude.
Yes.
Little vato.
The vato, the essay. Yeah. So that video went viral. All he was doing was on a skateboard, drinking his
What's the
cranberry
song that he
juice.
was on? That he was?
Fleetwood Mac
Fleetwood
Dreams.
Mac,
And
yeah.
the only reason why I know that is because of that video going viral. That song was reborn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every DJ and their mother said, "Oh, we're gonna remix this song."
Yeah.
Because people want to
Probably
hear
played
it.
that shit at the clubs.
Exactly. Oh no, they did. 1,000%. 1,000%. I forgot who it was. God, I want to say, and don't quote me on this, but was it David Guetta who did a Fleetwood Mac Dreams remix that was like one of the better ones?
I don't know who it was.
I think it
but
was
yeah.
David, and we could look it up, but let's just say it was David Guetta for the sake of the argument. But my point is that that's a perfect example of somebody who wasn't necessarily trying to get views and was literally just doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Like that was just him, like chilling on a skateboard, recording himself, drinking an ocean spray. This guy didn't know he was going to go viral, blow up, get sponsored left and right
Yeah.
by skateboard companies, by Ocean Spray. Like,
That's
dude,
right. Ocean Spray
he got a free
did
truck.
fucking-
He got bro. The guy's like, you know what I mean? Your average, not even your average Joe. You're below average Joe. Not to make fun of the guy, but just putting himself out there.
Yeah.
On TikTok, making real borderline basic
He's
content.
just enjoying himself.
And I think that's what I took from that video was like, wow, the key to going viral is be you. As basic and as boring as that may sound,
Yeah.
do you, boo boo, do you at the scale in which you would do you the most,
Mhm.
right? Don't be afraid to be yourself on social media. Don't be afraid to post, no, regardless of how many views or likes you get, right? Just fucking do it.
Yeah. How many people do you think are like actually themselves on social media,
Very little.
right? And do you think that extends down to the everyday person like you and me? Like if I have 150 followers and I have a private account, or do you think that it's just anybody with a public account that's trying to gain followers that's not themselves? Do you think just everybody tries putting on some sort of persona on their social media, regardless if you're
No, I
popular or
mean,
not?
if you're trying to grow your social media, 1000% the latter, right? They're trying to be somebody they're not.
Hmm.
I can attest to that because at one point, and I am very much into fitness, but at one point, I convinced myself that, hey, if these idiots can do it, I can do it too,
Yeah.
right? But then I realized that I was trying real hard to be somebody that I'm not. While I am very big on fitness and I'm a very big advocate and I love posting fitness content, to some degree, I wasn't posting everything that
Yeah.
I would do or everything that would showcase my persona and the way I came about
Was it
fitness,
just
right?
was it just like whatever fitness was popular that you were posting at the time, or?
No, so what ended up happening was one of my videos. I wouldn't even say it went viral, but it got like I think 20,000 views.
Hmm.
And what I realized was this: I realized that there is an algorithm.
Hmm.
One and two, if you don't jump on the algorithm like you would a wave as a surfer, you're gonna miss it.
Hmm.
You know, you're gonna miss it, and it's not gonna catch you, and you're not gonna get all these views and likes, right?
Yeah.
Impressions, etc. So I started following the algorithm and I started to jump on trending audio, right? Or
Hmm.
even trends for that matter that were correlated with fitness. And I noticed immediately like all my videos were getting like 5 to 10,000 views and hundreds of likes. And I wasn't doing anything special. Mind
Yeah.
you, my account only has maybe 700 plus followers.
Hmm.
So why am I getting that many, views and likes if I only
Because of
have
the
seven?
trending audio or
Because
the
because
trending
I jumped on the
topics or the
algorithm, right? And,
hashtags.
and mind you, I'm not even saying like, oh, I figured it out. I know how to go viral. I didn't say that. What I am saying is that it was enough to get more attention than what was coming from my average followers,
Hmm.
right? So, but yes, I was guilty of portraying a persona that I really am not because
Hmm.
I was doing things that were out of my character,
Hmm.
and I do believe that a lot of personas out there do that with their social media
Hmm.
accounts.
And I can relate to that because like with my photography page, I feel like I have to make reels for me to be seen. I enjoy photos, but I'm sitting here having to make videos to try to appeal to people and to reach out to a wider audience. So I'm doing things that I don't want to do as a person in order to reach a goal of getting more followers and getting more views. But at the same time, when you think about that, right? When you think about getting these more followers and more views, what does that gain for you? What does that do for you? Especially if you're not somebody who's famous, if you're not somebody who's endorsed, if you're not somebody who's sponsored by a company, like what's the end goal here other than getting more followers and more views? What is the purpose?
I think everybody ultimately wants to make it via social media.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be TikTok, it doesn't have to be Instagram. They just want to make it, right? Because they know that these platforms pay you, right?
Hmm.
Ultimately, whether it's through ad revenue and or through sponsorships, right? They see that people who have made it through social media and these platforms are getting paid and they're getting sponsored and they're literally making more than the average person who has a bachelor's or even a master's degree, right?
Yeah.
Which is insane because all they're doing is just posting
Hmm.
on social media, which is like the easiest thing you can do in the world,
Yeah.
right? So of course everyone's like, "Hey, why can't that be me?" Right?
Hmm.
I could do that. What's stopping me from being that person? Right? And then you have all these other accounts telling you, like, oh, follow our market strategy and buy our membership so that we can show you how to grow your Instagram or grow your TikTok and grow your followers and you can gain more impressions and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's become a fucking circus, in my opinion, to where, yes, you like, there is per se equal opportunity for everybody out there,
Hmm.
but I really do believe that only the 1% really truly make it to that level because it takes more than just posting the right content. I think a lot of it has to do with committing to the vision,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of people don't even have the vision to begin with,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like the vision is developed by people who are already popular and who are already influencers, who are already sponsored and who are already making it through social media, right? So these people that are training these algorithms and generating these trends are people who don't necessarily need the new recognition because they already have enough recognition and followers and likes and are well endorsed and make a good living off of social media as it is. So how as like a everyday person are you if you're just jumping on a trend, you're not a trendsetter, you're just a follower. So how are you as an everyday person supposed to get up there and make it in essence, you know what I mean?
There's no blueprint.
Yeah.
There's no blueprint to how to go viral, how to grow your Instagram, your TikTok. And, touching base on not targeting, trying not to target females, but is it easier for an attractive, let's say 21-year-old, right, female who just decides to just post little TikTok dances in her underwear in her bedroom? Is she more likely to go viral and grow her following than, let's say, a guy who's in fitness posting fitness content every day, right? But he doesn't look like crazy shredded or jacked.
Yeah.
He just looks like an average guy who lives.
Yeah.
Who's more likely to go viral?
It's gonna be that girl.
But why?
Guys are pervs, dude. I mean,
Yes, but correct me if I'm wrong. No, you're right. You're not wrong.
I know.
Most guys.
Yeah, not me.
But it goes back to the algorithm.
That's what's popular. That's
The
what gets the
algorithm
views.
is engineered, right, for sex,
Hmm.
for what gets the most eyes. All these platforms are guilty of that.
Yeah.
Before it used to be, oh, just TikTok is showing sex. Instagram on its own, I don't even follow these pages, bro. They just throwing me these random accounts, suggested content.
Hmm.
Why do I want to see a girl shaking her tits on a 15-second audio? Like, there's no context. It's
Yeah.
just like an audio and it's just her like shaking her tits. And I'm like, what is this, bro? How did this get in my feed?
But that's the thing, like you just said, that's the thing that gets 10,000 likes, 100,000 likes.
Exactly.
You know,
It's not fair
yeah.
though. But it's not fair. You
The
know what I'm saying?
algorithm knows that's what generates that additional ad revenue. That's what generates more watch hours on their platform, more engagement from the platform. So that way Instagram can advertise to the people that are to the businesses that are potentially interested in, airing their ads on Instagram. They can say, "Hey, look, we have this many more watch hours because this girl was shaking her ass for 15 seconds on a fucking reel to I don't know, whatever the fuck song is trending today or tomorrow."
Yeah. No, you're right. And honestly, sadly, that's what's become of social media, right? It's not so much like the entrepreneurs of the world.
Hmm.
No. I mean, yeah, that's a thing. But the reality is it's no longer that. It's
Yeah.
now what sells on social media.
Yeah.
What
Sex.
gets the most eyes?
You know what?
Sex.
What's crazy is sex is always sold, even before
Oh, for
sold.
1,000%.
Sold. Yeah.
Sold,
Everything's sold.
selling,
Yeah.
past,
Anyway,
present,
sex is always
past,
sold,
present,
man.
future.
Like think
Yeah.
about it. Before fucking social media, how big was Playboy? How
I have a
big?
friend that works for Playboy, by the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah, one of my best friends.
Fun
His name's
fact.
JD. You can follow him at fuck, he's gonna hate me for not knowing it top of my head.
Damn it.
Zeus.dom. I know his business, which just recently became official LLC.
Nice.
It's Dom Digital Media LLC. Look him up. He lives in LA. Really successful. Works for Playboy. But has his own business on the side, which he's just killing it, by the way. And I say killing it because he's gone from like literally being we both grew up in Laredo.
Hmm.
But this guy went from like saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do in life." And he left his comfort zone, went to LA, didn't know anybody out there, had no connections, no money, just like literally just knew that he needed to be there to make it where he wanted to,
Hmm.
right? He already had his 4-year degree from photography and film and whatnot,
Yeah.
but just to make that leap, he did that, and now he's like, I mean, in my opinion, he's super successful. He may disagree with me. I think he's super successful because he's collaborating with a lot of big names that he wasn't before. He's now part of like a shuffle community, which is getting him a lot of collaborations as well. And
Hmm.
I think him and I talked about this, but a lot of his success is going to come from collaborations.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who does photography, filmography. I know you do that as well on the side. He he has seen most of his success come from collaborations and not just like being having the backbone of his editing, right?
Hmm.
Like yeah, he has that skill, but being able to collab with big names and different people and different personalities has gotten him more exposure, right? So
Yeah.
he's literally getting that momentum right now as we speak.
Living the American dream.
Pretty much, man. I mean, I look at his life sometimes and I'm like, bro, you're like literally living like the LA dream. And
Yeah.
he's like, no, I don't think so. And I don't know what.
That's
He's very
that's
humble.
I feel like that's the LA story, right? You come out there from nowhere and you try to make a name for yourself. You don't know anybody, and then boom, you blow up. You meet somebody, whatever, and
Yeah.
that sounds like what he's living. So
Yeah. Very humble guy. But yeah, but to that point, what were we talking about? Crap. Let me cut this part
we're
out.
we were talking about
Right?
no, we were talking about the the algorithm. We were talking about
Oh,
um the false persona people put on to social media to
so
try to build up that following or to follow
so
trends. Or,
where do we see cut? Where do we see the future of social media heading, right? And not so much Instagram or TikTok, right?
Mhm.
But just social media in general, because I do believe from what I see, Facebook's dying in the sense where like,
MySpace died.
yeah, and it's not about Facebook anymore, right?
Hmm.
Like it's still there. Like, oh yeah, but my parents are using Facebook. My grandparents are using
Yeah,
Facebook. You know what I mean? It's like,
the
okay,
same thing
if
with it's the MySpace
yeah,
story.
if they're using it, then obviously Gen Z is not
It's
using it
not
no more.
cool anymore.
Yeah, Gen Z is not on Facebook. Like, oh, let me post on Facebook too.
Yeah.
No, it's Instagram and TikTok, right? Those are the two that are like boom, boom, back to back, copying each other, whatever. So where do we see, I guess, TikTok and Instagram going? And if there's any other new social media platforms, what would they bring to the table that we don't see today?
Where they're going, man, this is this is interesting because what they're doing now, right? Reels are popular. Reels last from what 5 seconds to 60 seconds or some shit like that. I don't know how long reels are
They
anymore.
bumped it up, I
I
think, to
don't do
60 seconds.
I
Yeah.
don't do TikTok. Um, but man, where they're at now, they're shortening people's attention spans.
Yeah.
Where are they going? But how is social media going to adapt to a culture where or a society where the average attention span, you know, switches focus after 5 seconds or after 10 seconds, it already as it is, people are mindlessly sitting on their couch. You see it everywhere. You see it at restaurants, just swiping.
Yep.
They'll watch for 3 seconds, swipe. Watch for 3 seconds, swipe. Oh, I like this one. I'll watch this. Man, it's been 15 seconds already. Swipe. You know, so where is it going? I don't know. That's interesting, man. You know, Elon Musk has talked about Neuralink, and if these brain chips ever do get implanted into people's brains, you're gonna have social media in your mind. You know, how far down the line is that? I don't know. Where's it going in the near future? Instagram on your watch, maybe, where you could watch the reels on your watch. Same thing with TikTok. You watch these reels on your watch. Um, but in the long run, I think it's gonna become almost like when you're grocery shopping mindlessly, right? You're walking through the aisles and you start daydreaming, you start thinking about things. Imagine with those Neuralink chips or whatever other companies start developing brain chips, just subconsciously social media playing within the mind. You don't need a device, you don't need a watch, you don't need a phone, you don't need anything. It's just reels or whatever the fuck is popular next, right? Whatever makes money for people next, just playing subconsciously in your mind while you're grabbing a box of cereal. You're grabbing a specific box of cereal, but in your mind pops up a commercial of another box, an ad for a different
Wow.
box of cereal.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's wild.
man, these things aren't that far off, man.
Yeah,
Like,
no, you know what? I think that is definitely the future, what you just said, but I do feel like that is a ways to go. I think we'll see something similar to that. Um, I know there's been talks about, and this is something that was more of a prototype, but didn't really get, you know, much exposure, didn't get pushed out. Google Lens.
oh, the glasses.
Yeah,
I was just
something
starting to think
similar
about
to
that too.
that, but in the form of
Ray-Ban has them
maybe,
too.
yeah, maybe in the form of, maybe in the form of a contact lens, you know,
Yeah,
or if you don't want a
something
contact
less
lens,
invasive,
maybe
right?
you do want to wear them on your shades, or maybe it's something as easy as like getting them installed on any pair of
Yeah,
sunglasses, you know, because at the end of the day, we have the technology for this.
yeah,
You know, microprocessors are literally that. They're
yeah.
micro. They're tiny as fuck. So the fact that we can compress this technology as much as we need to and make it just to like the naked eye can see it,
Yeah.
like yeah, I think we're closer than that to that than we think. And I think a lot of what we see today, like especially from Apple, like, oh yeah, the new iPhone 15, whatever, blah blah.
Hmm.
It's like, bro, like, come on.
Yeah.
Give us the stuff you're holding
Well,
back
think
on.
about it. Once you
Yeah.
have these lenses and stuff too, not even a near link, right? Because like you said, it's a ways off. I think it is. I think it's maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 years off. What's in the near future? And I can see something like those the Google Lens, right? You have a Google Lens, you have a whole phone sitting on your face. It could be glasses, it could be sunglasses, it could be an Invisalign. You know, they have Invisalign braces, an Invisalign or something. You know what I mean? These things are become obsolete because you're gonna have a whole phone just sitting on your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I could see that in the near future too, right? You're just sitting there, you're walking, your lens is seeing what your eyes are seeing, and same thing, ads playing, whatever in your lens, just top left corner in your eyes right here, or down underneath here, you have something scrolling, and that's what could be next, you know? Man, it's just crazy to think, you know, how fast cell phones have progressed. Um, to, you know, from not even having one shit 18 years ago to now having a computer in your hand. And then think about it, if people really want to, 5 years from now, they can have a cell phone right here. They don't need to use their eyes, or they don't need to use their hands. They're just using their eyes, right? You can scroll with your eyes. You can you can press icons with whatever you're looking at, right? So you look this way to scroll, right? Up
Yeah.
and down. And then once there's a button you want to press, you stare at it for, you know, a half second or 1 second, and that's clicking it.
Neurotransmitters.
Yeah.
Neurotransmitters will be integrated. It's funny when you said you don't have to use your hands. I reference, and only millennials will get this reference. Back to the Future when the little kid's in front of the arcade
Oh yeah.
in part two. He's like, "You mean I have to use my hands?" And then the kid's like, "The fuck? Like, what future are we in?" Like, but yeah, no. And you know what? I think what you just said will heavily be tied into, dare I say, the M word, the metaverse.
Hmm.
I say it because that was obviously a fluke, too early, too soon,
Oh yeah.
right? Not to say that it's completely out the
I
window,
think there's gonna
but
be a revival for it.
well, and it's not dead. It's just it was blown up too soon, right? Just like crypto was in
Yeah.
general. You know,
Went
crypto.
through a quick mainstream cycle.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh my god, all these crypto coins are going to the moon." Blah
Buying
blah.
real estate on the
Dogecoin. It's
metaverse.
my god, dude. That was a thing. There was a no jokes.
Millions of dollars.
There was a point where I was on Decentraland and I was like, "Bro, what is going on with Decentraland?"
Hmm.
Because
I
everybody's
remember me
trying
and
to,
you talked about it.
yeah, Samsung, Adidas, like all these big name
They're
brands.
buying land.
Like they were literally buying real estate on Decentraland. And I was like, I'm missing something, right? Like, what am I not seeing? So I go in there and I just looked at plots. Bruh, these plots of land, they weren't even that big. They were like squares. We're going for like tens of thousands of
Yeah.
dollars.
Yeah, I remember looking at it too.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was like, this has to be a joke. This can't be
Virtual
real.
land.
Virtual land. Now, I will say this. I'm not saying that virtual land has no value. I'm saying it had that much value too soon.
Hmm.
And there is such a thing as saying that because where we are today in our economy, in our macroeconomic environment, There's no money for virtual land.
Yeah.
Who can afford virtual land?
Can't afford real land.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. If anybody's buying virtual land, it's the people that are already rich.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's the same people that are buying and flipping houses.
Mhm.
It's not the average person that can barely afford like a $300,000 home and they get a freaking 6-7% APR in today's world,
Yeah.
right? They can't afford. They don't look at that like, oh, babe, should we buy this house or should we buy the virtual land in Decentraland? I don't know. What do you think?
Let's go for the skyscraper in Decentraland.
Right? I don't know, babe. We might be at 5x value.
Well, and think about it. That can be the future of social media as well, right? You could be sitting in your fucking underwear, laying in bed. You put on these goggles, and you load into Decentraland, right? And
Surrogates.
you load into your little virtual house. You go to virtual work. You do virtual work in virtual Decentraland, and you live a virtual life, but you're making money in real life doing this virtual work in Decentraland. You want your form of entertainment. You want your form of social
We're
media.
not sponsoring Decentraland, by the way. Just
What was
throwing
the
that
other?
out there.
What was the other one that was like Decentraland? There was another one.
Yeah, there was a few. Cardano made their own.
Yeah.
Wasn't
there a Solana one?
Pavia
also?
or Pave, something like that.
Yeah.
Solana.
Think about
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean the big
Yeah.
networks, the big blockchains.
There's one based off of Ethereum.
For virtual land, I don't think so.
Okay, maybe I might.
Well,
be wrong
Ethereum
about
was known more for NFTs.
Mhm.
That was the number one NFT.
Yeah.
Like blockchain.
Yeah.
Right. You could build blockchains. I mean, you could build NFTs essentially anywhere.
Mhm.
Like even on Bitcoin. A lot of people don't know this, but it just became a thing where it was like, okay, are NFTs like what are NFTs right at that
Mhm.
point? And I think if you really researched what NFTs were, at the end of the day, it's a digital identity for any object, anything, right? That can be essentially materialized. The number one thing that people talked about was how NFTs would be used mainly by the government, would be mainly used for IDs,
Mhm.
which they hit a home run with that. Because if you think about it, that is a perfect spot or perfect place for NFT to exist.
Mhm.
I don't have to carry my driver's license anymore. I just show you my NFT, you verify it
Mhm.
in the blockchain, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, that's yours.
Mhm.
Boom. Right? I don't have to carry my ID. I can never lose it,
Yeah.
right? And
It's built right into your phone.
boom, right? Are we there yet? No. So all this whole nonsense.
Do you think governments will ever adopt that, though?
1,000%.
Think so?
Governments, the Fed, governments, etc. From what I've learned and what I've seen, people are fools.
Mhm.
People think that they're one step ahead of the government. They think that they'll do something different that will degovernize something at a macro scale.
Mhm.
The government ultimately will decide what's good for you and what you get to have. When they decide that it's okay and regulated and at their price, right?
Mhm.
Or the way they wish to distribute it, right?
Mhm.
It's just like everything else.
Whether you're in a free society like ours, or whether you're in North Korea under a dictatorship, it's the government's always going to decide for you one way or another.
I argue if we're in a free society, but yeah, I get it. We're not in a
A
dictatorship.
free society.
Yeah. Pause real quick. So I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a wrap from the Shack. We'll see y'all next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on any of our social medias. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, and we're on every major streaming platform for podcasts, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google. What are some of the other ones?
I feel like Spotify and Apple.
I feel like if you're
are
not
the
on those,
biggest
what the
ones.
fuck are you doing,
like,
honestly?
where are you getting your your podcast?
What,
from?
does iHeartRadio do podcasts?
Probably, but we don't care about them.
Yeah.
We
Anyways,
care about the
all
big
right.
ones.
Just important thing, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys. Peace.
Later.